Well, I want to thank everyone for coming, listening to Aiden talk. It felt like he was talking about someone else. Kind of surreal to be in this position, and it really feels full circle to come back here and be in front of all of you guys. So thank you for coming. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun today. But the talk I want to talk about today really is centered around one particular question. And that question is, who are you? And so I want us to think about that as we listen to the presentation today. Because most of the time when we meet people, the question becomes, what do you do, or where are you from? And less, what are your values? And really, who are you? And it's really important, I think, in the age of AI and technology, to start to answer that question, because it's the one question that AI can't answer, is who we are. And I think as an investor, a builder, an entrepreneur, a deployer of capital, and a company builder, it's really important that we start to understand who we are and how that informs on what we build. So I'll start by answering that question. Listening to that again sounds like a long career. I still can't believe it when I hear it out loud. And I've had the opportunity to sit at venture capital funds, raising funds, deploying capital, and really at the intersection of innovation. And I've seen how brilliant innovation can be, but I've also seen how exhausting it can be for the founders that are doing it. And so really the question of who I am when I ask that, I'm someone that believes deeply that the humanity that we show is not a liability, as some people would say in business, and not a liability in the things that we need to build. And so what I'd like to talk to you about today is how we need to embrace that and how the future of founding is human and must be human. So we all know what the Hollywood entrepreneurship story looks like. We're walking down the street, we're in bed, and boom, lightning strikes. We have this great idea, we can't go back to sleep, we tell all of our friends who think we're crazy. And the Hollywood script is, we start to call all of our PhD friends at Stanford who just happen to be unemployed, and they want to jump on board with us. And we fly on our private jet out to Silicon Valley, and we go to Sand Hill Road, and one of our MBA classmates works at Sequoia and gets us a meeting, and the money just starts falling from the sky. And then we rent this cool mansion in Sunnyvale, and we all start to go to work, and everything is up and to the right, and up and to the right, and up and to the right, and we've got users and product market fit, money's raining down users, all of these things happen, and then the phone rings, and then it's JP Morgan, and JP Morgan wants to lead our IPO. And so we all get back on that plane, we fly to Wall Street, we go to the NASDAQ desk, and we ring the bell. And that's the Hollywood story of entrepreneurship success. That's not reality. Over the past 3 years, there's been approximately 50-ish global IPOs, and there's been almost 300,000 companies that have been started. So I'm not great at math, I'll do the math for you, that's like 0.1%. So the Hollywood story that you just heard is not reality for most entrepreneurs. This is the real entrepreneurship story. The first part, exactly the same. Great idea, tell everyone we know, but we don't know Stanford PhDs. We call our buddies from college who are probably in a corporate job. We don't have any money, we don't even know where Sand Hill Road is, and we call our rich uncle and say, hey, I know you were gonna leave it to me when you die, can you just give me $50,000 now, and I've got the best idea in the world. Right? And then we go to raise money, or we do whatever, but we have a little bit amount of money. And then everyone says, just go and grind. So it's wake up, kick ass, and repeat. But wake up probably means being on our mom's couch now because we have to move home, right? It's not the Sunnyvale mansion. And we don't even know what that means. So we don't know venture capitalists. We end up going to raise money. They're using acronyms we've never heard about before, and we just fake it till we make it. And then it's wake up, kick ass, and repeat over and over. And we have a little bit of success, and it's fine, but we don't know what we're doing. And most of the time, we stop talking to our friends, we stop doing the things we were doing before, we're so focused on this thing that we just burn out. And that's the real story, and that's okay. And people say, oh, well, I failed, and What does that mean? And then they'll say, well, you didn't really fail, you learned, but you're a better human being for it. That's typically the story. And then they're going to say, well, hey, Shawn, can't AI do everything for me, right? Isn't that what everything's here for? Here's my new co-founder. And yes, AI will work harder than your lazy roommate that wants to go to the fraternity party and not, do product market fit on the weekends. But think about it. Now, with a few $100s in a weekend, you can spin up an MVP, you can have a website, you have all of that stuff that you needed, and you can do it for $20 subscription to ChatGPT. Right? Great, I solved everything. Well, not really, because guess what? Everyone else has the same tools that you have. So what's going to be your defensibility? What's going to be your moat as you go out and you try to bring this idea to life? Well, regardless if you use machines or humans, there is what I like to call the collateral damage of entrepreneurship. It's not just you on this. It's you, your family, your relationships, all these other things. And so really, during this process, things are going to happen. Best friends that are co-founders are going to break up and the company's going to fail. You're going to have sleepless nights, you're going to be raising money, you're going to not have a job, you're not going to have insurance. All these things are going to happen, and that's just real life, and that's what happens to humans when they go on this entrepreneurship journey. But what I don't think is right is that we normalize, in order to win, we have to sacrifice our humanity and able to do that. So think about all the visionaries that we know out there. They've all gone through the same struggle. No one talks about it, and it's reality. And I know it's like, hey, Shawn, you didn't come to school of entrepreneurship to be a downer and tell me about all the bad things about entrepreneurship. I'm going to go to be a communications major. It's just the truth, right? But I've never been more excited to be an investor, to talk to entrepreneurs. There's a different way. So let's talk about it. So what does the future look like? I don't know, but it's got to be different. We were told that we need to grind ourselves to the, and work 24/7, and that's just not the case. And you can build companies in a different way today because of the tools that we have and because of the shift in the way that entrepreneurship can be in the future. And so I think the new entrepreneurial edge is not about speed, it's just more about self-awareness, and it's building companies and teams that are sustainable as human beings. So great, so what does it look like? And so I'm not the first person to talk about this. There are companies that have been doing it, but they're the exception, not the rule. If you look at companies like Zappos, you look at companies like Patagonia, great companies, and their founders just chose to build differently. Even when Zappos was acquired by Amazon, they kept them separate because there's no way that they could take their 30 human-centric rules and mantras and apply it to a big company like that. And when the Patagonia owner died, he left the company to the humans that worked for him. And it wasn't about scale, and it wasn't about growing fast, it was about getting away from the chaos. So companies have been doing this before. And it's not just those companies, but the industry has believed. I'm up here as an investor saying that it's okay to build a business case around humanity. Whether you're a big four firm, whether you're a venture fund, whether you're the leading tech magazine, we know that companies where the humans thrive, the company thrives, and the company outperforms. So what does the new founder experience look like? I mean, today the biggest thing I could do is just give you the invitation to build differently. You don't have to be what the Hollywood, Silicon Valley entrepreneur tells you to be. I give you permission, I give you encouragement, and I hope that you base your companies really much more around sustainability, authenticity, and the human desire to be fulfilled in the things that we do. There's a few things I would say that you can do. It's about building with clarity, and first that's just, what do I want out of this, and not listen to the chaos outside. Embrace your sphere of influence that got you here. We talked about the collateral damage. There is going to be plenty of that along your journey. Bring those people along that are going to support you along the way. And also build with purpose and not the pressure of having to be that Silicon Valley story that's there. It's just not reality. And so you can build differently moving forward. Somebody said this to me, they're in the audience, it's really cool, and they said, We should reverse the equation around the mantra of product market fit versus product market fit versus founder fit. And I thought it was really interesting to just build with your values and really test those things out. And so just like we would test a product in the prototype, we can test ourselves as founders as we're building along the journey and see if it works, and then get some feedback from the people around us. Am I still the same person I was before? Have I had to sacrifice too much of what I brought with me in order to make this happen? And then see if it works and not change, just like we would a product, but apply it to yourself. And so I was like, how do I give some concrete examples of things that you can do differently as an entrepreneur? What would building differently look like? And I think the first thing that you have to say is, what are my currencies outside of money? Are they time? Are they autonomy? Are they creativity? Why am I doing this? And then take those currencies and build companies of the why. When I ask someone, not what you do, I ask them, who are you and why are you doing it? That's what I want to know. What is the outcome that I want? Just because venture capital says I need 100x, that's not what I need. Do I want a lifestyle business that I want forever? Do I want to pass a business to a family member or a child or something else? I can define what success looks like for me. Now, if I take money from other people that have definitions, that's a different story, but I can define what success looks like for me along my journey. The other thing is, prioritize the things that make you well outside of work. So if you're a ballerina or a cyclist or a mountain climber, bring those things along for the ride. They give you levity. They give you an outlet when things get hard. They must come along your entrepreneurship journey. One of the last things here that I would say, investors always say to founders, I invest in people, not in products. Well, how do you due diligence people? Why don't you use the same business KPIs to yourself? Here are the things that make me whole. Here are the things that make me genuine. If you're really worried about me, ask me about me and not what my CAC to LTV ratio is. I'll give you that. But find out what the person's about versus just the business KPIs. And finally, you are your IP. In a sea of sameness, because the tech tools are the same, you are the person that's going to make the difference in what you build. So we've all seen this before. Technology has been around from the wheel to whatever it is today, and we've always coexisted with it. And it's been super powerful, and it's enabled us to communicate better, to go places we never thought we would, and build things we never thought we would. And it's super powerful. But technology machines, they don't feel, they don't breathe, they don't create from a place of pain or joy or wonder, all the things that human beings do. And I don't think the next wave of technology is really going to be built on efficiency. It's just going to be on emotional intelligence and creativity and all the things that make us human. So use your human superpowers as you move forward and leverage technology where you can. So finally, I'm going to leave you where I began with the same question. Who are you? But I mean, like, who are you really? And this is going to be the biggest differentiator between you and everyone else. Everyone and every entrepreneur is a snowflake. They're all different. And the things they build based on what they value are going to be the differentiation in the marketplace. And so you're not a machine, you're not a brand, you're the unique advantage that you have. So I would ask all of you, next time you're looking in the mirror, look back at that entrepreneur, and I would say, take care of them. Trust them, let them lead, because you all are the founders that the future is looking for. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing what you guys build in the future.